You have 17 minutes before your next meeting. You know this because your phone told you. And because your phone told you, those 17 minutes feel different from the 17 minutes before it told you. They feel shorter, more pressured, already partially spent on the awareness that they're running out. Now try to imagine a mind with no clock, no calendar, no concept of Tuesday, no word for next week, no scheduled meeting, no deadline, no alarm set for tomorrow morning. Not a mind that has forgotten these things. A mind that never had them. A mind for which the question, "What time is it?" would be not just unanswerable but genuinely meaningless. That was the default human mind for almost all of human history. And what neuroscience and anthropology have found when they go looking for what that felt like is one of the strangest things either field has ever encountered. Start with what time actually is, because this matters more than it seems. The brain uses at least 3 distinct systems to process time simultaneously. There is clock time, objective, mechanical, external. There is circadian time, the ancient biological rhythm regulating sleep, hunger, temperature. It predates humanity by hundreds of millions of years. And then there is psychological time, the subjective experience of duration, the way a boring hour feels longer than an interesting one, the way 5 minutes of fear stretches into something enormous. Ancient humans had all 3. What they lacked was the 4th thing, the cultural framework that turns raw time experience into a structured, measurable, socially shared system of past and future. They had time. They just didn't have the story about time that we tell ourselves every minute of every day. Anthropologists who have spent extended time with communities living outside industrial time frameworks describe something genuinely difficult to translate. The Amandawa people of the Amazon were documented by linguist Chris Sinha and his colleagues in 2011 in a paper that made considerable noise in cognitive science. The Amandawa have no word for time. Not a vague word, not an imprecise word, no word. They have no concept of time as an independent thing that passes, that can be saved or wasted or lost. They have sequences. This happened, then this happened. They have rhythms, the dry season, the wet season. They have events, the hunt, the birth, the fire. But time is a container that events happen inside. Time is a river that flows regardless of what occurs. That concept simply does not exist. When Sinha's team tried to ask Amandawa speakers how old they were, the question produced genuine confusion, not evasion. Confusion. The category didn't exist. People didn't have ages, they had roles. When a child took on adult responsibilities, they changed their name. When an elder became dependent, they changed their name again. Identity moved through stages defined by social function rather than years counted from birth. What does the world feel like when you're not aging toward anything? When there is no number attached to your existence? When the future is not a scheduled sequence of events, but simply what comes next? Neuroscience has something to say about this too. The brain region most associated with future-oriented thinking, with planning, with imagining scenarios that don't yet exist, is the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex doesn't just develop with age, it develops with use, with the specific cognitive demands placed on it. People who habitually plan for the future, who mentally time travel regularly, show measurably different prefrontal activity from those who don't. The brain region responsible for future thinking gets stronger the more future thinking you do. Industrial time is relentlessly future-oriented. You are always late for something, always early for something, always between 2 scheduled points. Your brain is almost constantly engaged in mental time travel, projecting forward, anticipating, preparing. For most of human history, that wasn't the cognitive demand. The demand was presence. Full, complete, sensory attention to what was happening right now. The animal in front of you, the change in the wind, the behavior of the clouds, the cognitive architecture that made an extraordinary hunter may have made a poor planner. The cognitive architecture that makes an extraordinary planner may have made a poor hunter. We optimized for the future, and something about the present got quieter. There is a concept in psychology called flow, described by Csikszentmihalyi in research spanning decades, referring to the state of complete absorption in a present moment activity where the sense of time disappears entirely. Skilled tasks engaged at the edge of ability. Making, building, moving, hunting. People in flow states report that time stops. An hour passes in what feels like minutes. The internal clock disengages. The future disappears. There's only the thing being done and the doing of it. Csikszentmihalyi concluded that flow states represent some of the highest levels of subjective well-being humans report. Not happiness exactly, something more focused, more alive. For ancient humans, people whose entire existence was structured around skilled physical engagement with a present moment environment, flow may not have been an occasional peak experience. It may have been the default, not because ancient life was pleasant. Much of it was not, but because the cognitive architecture required to survive in it demanded a quality of presence that industrial time systematically dismantles. There is something striking about the fact that modern humans spend significant money and time trying to achieve through meditation and mindfulness what the structure of ancient life may have produced automatically. We are trying to get back to something. We just don't entirely know what we lost. Language also is a part of this in ways that run very deep. English has a future tense, a past tense. The entire grammatical structure encodes time as something that moves in one direction, dividing experience into was, is, and will be. Not all languages work this way. Hopi, a Native American language, was described by linguist Benjamin Lee Whorf as having no tenses, no grammatical past, present, or future. Whorf's analysis has been contested and refined over the decades since, but the broader point has not gone away. Languages vary enormously in how they encode time, and the way a language encodes time shapes, not determines, but shapes, how its speakers experience it. Mandarin speakers tend to conceptualize time vertically. Earlier events are up, later events are down. English speakers tend to conceptualize it horizontally. Earlier events are behind, later events are in front. These are not just metaphors. Studies show these spatial orientations affect how speakers actually process temporal information. The language you think in changes where time lives in your mind. For a mind operating in a language with no future tense, planning for next season is not the same cognitive act it is in English. The future isn't a place you can mentally inhabit. It exists. Things will happen, but the grammatical scaffold for standing inside the future and looking around simply doesn't exist. Which brings everything back to a question that sits uncomfortably at the intersection of neuroscience, anthropology, and philosophy. Is the way modern humans experience time, this relentless forward orientation, this constant awareness of duration, this chronic sense of time running out, is that human nature? Or is it a cognitive habit built by culture, language, and the specific demands of industrial life? Because the evidence from anthropology suggests humans lived for the vast majority of their existence without it. The evidence from neuroscience suggests the brain regions most involved in future-oriented thinking are precisely the ones most shaped by cultural demand. The evidence from psychology suggests the moments humans report feeling most fully alive are the moments when the industrial time sense disengages. The ancient humans standing at the edge of a river at dawn, listening, watching, fully there, was not experiencing an absence of time. They were experiencing time in its oldest form, unscheduled, unmeasured, not running out, just happening.